Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mahesh Karya. You guys are watching me on YouTube now, and in this session I'm gonna take you through how to use context or context API in React Native, and I'm gonna use a Expo for this tutorial. So with the very first command, npx create expo app, that is -t I'll pass in order to choose the blank one. This is the blank project that I'm gonna choose with the app name. This is it, I guess. I need a few of dependencies in order to run this on the web, because we are testing this on the web. So same, if you are familiar with React already, this is pretty much same. In React Native we use same React context, use context, you can name it whatever it may be. So if you don't want to use Redux in order to manage state between the components, you can easily use the use context API. The once you do this, you have to open this, and inside your app, if you see this is my simplest example that we can think of, and I don't need anything from here, and I don't want to import any styles at this moment. This is it. I'll quickly start with pages. So counter.js or tsx or whatever you want to prefer with, and counter context.js. These two things I need in order to start with creating context. I'm gonna use the counter. If you are able to do things with the counter, you can able to do things with the user name, email, password. So this is the best basic example, I'll say. I'm not gonna use any APIs in this tutorial, but I'm making the series. On the top of that, you will see in the future videos that context API or Redux with APIs you will see. So keep following this tutorial, this series. So import, I'll import it later, let it be. So const counter context is equals to react dot create context. You can either define like this or like this, doesn't matter. Later you have to create a provider. So const counter provider, and that provider will take a children, and that children where you can have a set count. And I'll need two other things, which is const increment and decrement. So increment will simply do the set count, change the set count to +1, and I'll need decrement which will set count to -1. This is it. And later you will have this create provider. You need to wrap this two things. I need increment and decrement here, and comma decrement in here, and this is it. Don't forget to export this. So export, of course, two things you have to export: counter provider and counter context. I'm not following any directory structure. You can follow the file based routing and everything. I've made videos on the top of that already. And later inside counter, things are pretty straightforward, but I'll have to make sure I'm importing the required things in here. So import, and I need these things in order to proceed. Later inside counter, all I have to do is to start with importing buttons and all. So I'll first create the function counter, and that counter will take actually count, increment and decrement. So this is pretty straightforward, but I use a view. So I'll say I need to import a view, and that view will later need a text and everything. So I'll also need to import this text from here, and this is my simplest best example. That's it. Let's export this counter. I have to import few other things, like import create context, or sorry, counter context in here, and that counter context later I can use in here. So whenever you define this three things in here, you can either do, let me do this, and instead of this I'll say return in here. Okay, so I'm returning this, and I have to make sure I'm closing this as well, and that's how we are done. Now instead of getting all the parameters in here, I'll use this use context. Okay, that is the beauty of creating, because you don't have to pass the parameters all the time. You have a complete control over what you are doing in different components. Okay, so see, I'm not passing anything in here. That's the beauty, and I can globally get anything anywhere. So this is the thing I was looking forward to show you guys. I also don't need this. And later, the last thing is remaining inside your app. If you go to the app, you have to do just one thing. You have to import counter provider. We exported this from a counter context page, and the counter I have to import, okay, like this. So you just need to wrap this once, okay, and you're good to go. Later, if you change the directory to app, and if you start by npx start expo, actually start -c we use to clear the cache. And you see the web is not enabled. I'm gonna use web for testing, so for that I need to install these many dependencies. So I'll say enter. I don't need this actually. Wait, I can close this, paste, enter. So this will allow you to use web as well in same project. So you see in here now W is enabled. Hit W, and in right hand side port 8081 you will able to see something. If you are not, open this quickly, change this to bottom, and that's how you will see in console that button is something in counter. Actually we need to import from here, and you are done. So this is the one. The next thing is check that your button is coming from here. Sorry, W again, increment, decrement, and you're good. So this, it was the simplest example, I'll say. Keep following me. Thank you so much all of you guys for being with me, supporting me all the time. It's been pleasure to be here. Please let me know inside comment box what you want from my side. Definitely I'll make it for you, and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't already, and smash that like button if you enjoyed. Till then, see you soon in next video. Tada, bye bye.